What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today I have another video in our series of comparing some of the top prospects in this year's 2022 NBA draft. Today we're going to be comparing Chet Holmgren and Shaedon Sharpe. You got Chet Holmgren, someone who should be a lock to be a top 3 pick in this year's draft, and you have Shaedon Sharpe, someone who I think should be a top 3 pick in this year's draft. Will likely be a top 5, top 6 pick, but I'm going to be comparing the two. I'm going to be going over how they compare physically, offensively, defensively, all that. Then I'll give you my thoughts on who I think the better prospect is. But more importantly, I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, so make sure you leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So I'll start first with physically how they compare to each other. Starting with Chet Holmgren. Chet's a 7'1", 200 pound, hopefully 210 pounds by the time the draft happens. Power forward / center. Chet is a unicorn physically in terms of there's just not a lot of 7-footers that can move like him. He's someone who is very mobile, very athletic. I think if he was just asked to be a run and jump type big man, I think he would be athletic enough to fill that role. But also he's got great foot speed for a 7-footer. I think he's got some switchability on the perimeter. Can really move his feet well. Now the big question mark with Chet is obviously strength-wise. He's very light, 200, 205, 210, whatever he weighs now. Still very light. He's going to have to put on weight, and we're going to see how that affects him at the NBA level. How much weight can he put on? If he does put on weight, will he still retain some of that fluidity and some of the athleticism that he has? Just some question marks in terms of physically how he'll hold up at the NBA level. On the other hand, you have Shaedon Sharpe. Shaedon Sharpe's a 6'5", 200-pound shooting guard who is one of, if not maybe the most athletic player in this year's draft. Easily plays above the rim. Very explosive athlete. He's got about a 7-foot wingspan, so physically I don't think there's a whole lot more you can ask for out of an NBA prospect. I think in terms of who he compares to physically, I think he's very similar to Jalen Green out of last year's draft. Very athletic, very explosive. Similar frame, I think maybe Shaedon's a little bit more, has a little bit more room to probably fill out and get a little stronger than Jalen Green. But just overall, like I said, I don't think there's a whole lot more you can ask for. 6'5", he's got the size, 7-foot wingspan, has the length, athleticism, head at the rim athleticism. And so there's just not a whole lot of question marks about Shaedon Sharpe and what he can do or bring physically. Now, moving over to the offensive side of the ball, it's very hard to compare the two as they play such different positions. Starting with Chet. Chet's a 7-footer who's very athletic, like we talked about, and I think he'd be very capable of playing as a rim-running, lob threat type big guy. I think you could stick him in the dunker spot, have him catch lobs, have him finish dump-offs, have him run the floor in transition, and I think he'd be very capable of doing that. But what makes Chet unique and a unicorn, as some say, and a potential first overall pick is the skill set that he brings at 7 foot tall. I think the most unique thing with him is his ability to put the ball on the floor. He's very comfortable handling the ball. He can play a little bit out on the perimeter. He can take a rebound and go full length of the court. And I think one thing, once he gets in the NBA, you see a lot of times now they're starting to run some 4-5 pick and roll for some of these modern day big guys. And I think he'd be very capable of that. What really separates Chet though and what will get his game going is his ability to shoot the ball. Very fluid looking shot, very good looking shot. Shot the ball really well at Gonzaga, his only year there. And I think it's only going to get better with time. I think with more space, more room to operate at the NBA level, pick and pop situations, letting him put the ball on the floor, attack closeouts, or attack, like I said, slower footed big guys. I think he can be very dangerous. Now, does he have the mindset or the ability to be a number 1 option on an NBA team? I'm not sure, but if he's able to put on some weight and get a little stronger, he can develop a post game, and I think he's going to be a problem offensively. He just has a very complete game, not a lot of weaknesses in terms of what you're looking for out of a big guy in today's NBA. Shaedon Sharpe, on the other hand, is kind of hard to predict just because we haven't seen him play against competition outside of high school, and so it's hard to know exactly what's going to translate and what's not. But if you're just going off of that high school tape and kind of what we've seen out of workouts, there's not a lot to dislike about his game offensively. He seems like the modern day 2-guard to me. He's someone who, like we talked about, maybe the most athletic player in this year's draft. Can get out on the fast break, Very fun, very exciting player to watch. Can finish with his head above the rim. And just like I said, very fun to watch out in transition. And then moving into the half court, his half court offense, he's someone who seems like he has the potential to be a 3-level isolating type scorer. He's someone who has the handle and the athleticism, the quickness to get to the hoop and finish there. Now he needs to get stronger to consistently finish through contact, but he's got that ability to get to the hoop. Then watching some of his stuff in high school and some of these workout stuff, seems like he really likes to get into that mid-range area. He's got the handle. He has a lot of what seems to be shot creation ability with the ability to get his own and get to his spots in the mid-range area and finish there. Really reminds me a lot of Jalen Green in terms of that. And then his jump shot is very fluid from 3. It seems like the type of jump shot he should easily be an upper 30s, maybe 40% three-point shooter at the NBA level. I think shot selection may affect that percentage a bit at times, but it just seems like he has that 3-level scoring ability. He's just a modern day scoring guard who could flash some playmaking ability in high school, but right now I think he's suited to just get buckets at the NBA level. And I think that playmaking ability, if it does develop, makes him a very scary player with a ridiculously high ceiling. Defensively, this matchup's going to have to go to Chet. Chet's just an elite defensive player, 7-footer with a 7'6" wingspan, elite shot blocking ability, 3.5 blocks a game. He has an elite timing. He just knows how to time blocks. He's someone who does a great job of remaining vertical at times. And I think he's got some ability to move his feet out on the perimeter and can be switchable at times. I don't think he'll get totally exposed by guards. I think he can hold his own at times. And so when you're talking about a 7-footer with that kind of skill set defensively, if he adds some strength, I think that's when he becomes really scary, because then he can match up with players like Embiid or Jokic or such. For now, he'll probably play off the ball on those guys, be asked to guard more 4s than 5s, but elite shot blocker, elite defensive profile, I don't think you're going to really beat that. Shaedon Sharpe, on the other hand, is hard to predict. He has elite tools, 6'5", 7-foot wingspan, athletic, can move his feet. It's just, we haven't seen it at any higher level. Maybe effort could be a question mark there. It's hard to just say based on high school tape how much he cares defensively. Showcase some shot blocking ability, showcase some ability to play passing lanes. But overall, just hard to predict with Shaedon. It's just unknown at this point. Overall, who's the better prospect out of the two? I think that Chet's going to go higher, obviously, than Shaedon will in this year's draft. But I've been saying since Shaedon got ruled eligible for this year's draft that I'd take him number 1 overall. I think he has an extremely high upside. I think he fits today's NBA really well. To me, he's better than someone like Jalen Green was last year. I think I like him more as a prospect. And Jalen went number 2 in a very good draft last year. So I don't see any reason why in a slightly, I think, weaker draft this year, Shaedon couldn't go number 1. If he played college and had a good year, I don't think there'd be any doubt that he would. But that's kind of where we're at now. It'd be hard to select him number 1 as a GM just based on what he's played against. It's just hard to make that call. But yeah, I like Shaedon Sharpe. I like Chet too. Talked about Chet in other videos. But I'd take Shaedon number 1 overall. Leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. All that. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys later.